Hello and welcome to episode number 36 of Escape the J Curve, and I am your host Rohan Nag. I am super excited to bring you today's production because I am in conversation with Cody Shah. I know Cody for about 7 to 8 years now, and I consider him to be my mentor, and I look up to him and maybe even consider him to be a friend. And I do not know where to start about Cody. He is a full-time traveler. He's traveled to 70 plus countries. He's a travel consultant, a lifestyle coach, and a lot of other things. He has managed to tick off every item from his bucket list by the age of 30. It's a fascinating episode. Today we talk about a lot of things like motivation, like mindset, cultivation, meditation, DMT, and a lot of other fascinating topics. When you listen to this episode, just remember this. When he was in college, Cody got into an accident that severely damaged his eyesight. And he has managed to accomplish all of the things that I mentioned with that handicap. Okay? So I look forward to publishing this episode. I hope you're looking forward to listening to this episode. Thank you. I love you very much. Tune in for this fantastic episode. Hey Cody, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Cody. Thank you so much for joining Escape the J Curve. How are you, brother?
I'm doing very well. How about you? Partying out? Or not yet party mode?
I'm sorry?
Is it party mode yet in Bangalore or not yet?
Party mode? No, I don't think so. So everybody's scared. People are not going out as much, even in the shopping malls and things like that. It's not crowded at all. So people are mostly staying indoors.
Alright. In Delhi, everyone's getting out, so I just heard everyone is like...
Delhi people are crazy. They're living on the edge, man. Bangalore people are a bit, scared.
So, continue, man.
Yeah. So, for people who are tuning in, can we start off with a quick introduction about where are you from and what are you all about and things like that?
Right. So, my name is Cody, and I'm originally from a very small town in central India called Indore. And I'm a full-time traveler. I mean, I used to before Corona times. And I never had a permanent residence in a while because I was traveling about 250 to 70 nights a year, mostly internationally.
Yeah.
And I have traveled about 90 countries in the last 5 years. And like my life is mostly on the go, and I help people with their lifestyle goals and things they want in very, very unique way. So I'm more about to break the path chains instead of the traditional society explanation. Like there are a lot of things that we can do without the crutches of society, how they tell you, like you don't need to have a PhD to live a really good life. You can live without very good life on just very normal degree.
Absolutely. I think it's a big point of contention in India. People only think 3 careers, mainly, a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. And if you're not things, you're parents sort of give up hope on you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, your voice is breaking now a little bit.
I'm so sorry. I was saying, and what you said about lifestyle and building a career without having a degree, it's such a huge problem, especially in India. If you are not a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, your parents are seriously worried about you. And that's sort of a cultural mindset related issue, I think.
It's global. It's
And would
not
you?
India. It's everywhere. Even USA. It's like 90%
Mhm.
of people who have a degree, they're considered better off than people who are not having. And other people who do not have a degree and they earn really good money, they're considered the outliers rather than the norm. So it's similar most of the part of the globe,
Okay.
where people associate education with good life, but due to things are like at 1890 or industrial era, the revolution has, fortunately or unfortunately, Corona has triggered that evolution again, where people
Yeah.
have to use all the modern technology to live their life instead of depending on how. So the kids are going to school on online direct classes. People
Yes.
are, instead of renting out big office, they doing virtual work from home. So all these technologies somehow have been forced upon. They were always there, but people were
Mm-hmm.
uh, willing to migrate to them. Now they are forced to migrate, and people who were technologists for a while, they are having the smoothest time because they have always been
Mm-hmm.
living this life. Of course, the being in lockdown is a little different. That it's not ideal, but at the same time, these people were the least affected in terms of monetary and things like that.
Absolutely. So, Cody, I would like to ask you, what sort of set you on this path of, say, a full-time traveler or becoming a lifestyle coach? We all have those, origin stories, right? Maybe we read a book, or maybe we met a person who inspired us, or there was a life event which completely changed the way we think. So, what made you decide to give up on a normal life or a socially acceptable life to do something that you are doing now, traveling everywhere, teaching people how to build great lifestyles and things like that?
It's actually really funny. My life has become more like a movie with George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
Movie name was Up in the Air, and
Yeah, yeah.
uh, basically I was living on the same paradigm. Like even the language I talk right now is very similar to what he speaks, like, except about his
Mm-hmm.
concepts about relationship is very different. Uh,
Yeah.
but rest of, like, I don't consider relationship as baggage, but rest of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff is very similar. I also am on the same paradigm where tell people the same thing, same tips, like how to go through airports, how to find a good flight, how to think about different things. And yeah, so it's a very similar reality I have in my life. And I
Mm-hmm.
was traveling a lot for my work around
Okay.
2014 to 2016. I was traveling a lot for my work.
Mm-hmm.
Every other day I was in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, some other places. Slowly I started doing international, and then once I got used
Okay.
to it, then it just I stopped doing my job, and then I just moved to figure out a way to just enhance this lifestyle. And basically came out with what I call hacks, um,
Mm-hmm.
where I got rid of all the crutches I had, all the thinking like I don't need $1 million to live a millionaire lifestyle. There are other ways to do it, and I figured out all the ways and slowly mastered them over like a couple of years before made it like a full-time lifestyle.
Awesome. Awesome. So, there's this one thing that I wanted to ask you specifically around the challenges that you face on trying to live this lifestyle, which is very different from most of the people envision to live, right? So, I know, like, um, when I travel alone, it's a constant stress for me. For example, when I was in Greece, I could not figure out Google Maps for me because the alphabet was different, and I was completely lost on the first day, and I had to walk a lot to get to my destinations.
Yeah.
But from what I know, you have certain problems with your eyesight as well,
Yes.
and that would be a huge problem or a huge challenge when you're traveling, especially in the night, right?
Yeah.
So can you talk us through what happened, how did you get the problem, and how did you manage to overcome your problem, specifically the mindset around it?
So when the I would have to include a little bit of a negative mindset that will evolve to positive mindset. So I was a little bit suicidal around some when all these happened. First of all, it happened because there was a college incident, and I have written about it on Quora. It's like one of the most popular answer on Quora. One of the most difficult things you have done in your life. So you can read about entire story in detail. I've written everything there, and it's like really popular, so you can easily find it. All right. So it was an accident in a college that there were like a lot of people gathered, and somebody hit me, and my eyesight went for life. Like I never got it back, and then I had to go through multiple surgeries, and my entire life was about hospitals and things like that. And in my there was this phase of like Indian parents, they're reading me like shit, like, because who would marry you? The kind of girls they were showing me, they were like either divorcees or they had some handicap or things like that. They were thinking like I have some personal issues, and in my mind, like I have no choice, and I want to end my life. That was my thinking, and I would have to do something extraordinary to make this life worth it. And that's what I gave myself time to explore outside. That's why I have heard about going out and meeting women, finding different opportunities, different experiences. I just maximize everything I have in my mind. And so I set a goal where I would, everything I had in my mind, I would finish by age of 30. If not, I am willing to end my life. That was the promise I made to myself. And somehow I accomplished my entire bucket list by age of 30.
Wow. So can we go through your bucket list, or maybe some of the things that you're most proud of?
So yeah, basically all the extreme sports I've done: bungee jumping, skydiving, having my own island for a few days where I'm just the owner of the island for a while. Then flying first class, staying in the richest hotel, Burj Al Arab, going to months in Europe, living like a king. I stayed in a lot of palaces in Switzerland and all these places. So everything I had, having a girlfriend who is not Indian, I should meet her on travel and things like that, and have a very meaningful relationship with that person. Of course, all the fantasy stuff, threesomes and things like that. So yeah, basically lived through whole thing by age of 30.
Awesome. So, Cody, tell me something. So, when people come to you about, say, wanting to change their lifestyle, they want to live a cooler life or make more money or have more fun experiences, what's the one thing that holds them back the most? Like, if you talk about all your students,
there are so many things that people have a lot of mental crutches given to them in society. Like we just spoke about a little bit earlier, the education to live a millionaire lifestyle. The parents say that you should earn your life, and then when you retire, you can spend money on all the holidays and your retirement fund. And there's so many holes in this mindset. Number one, as you grow older, you're really not going to enjoy bungee jumping or skydiving or things like that anyway. So I'd rather have it out of the way. Until I don't think it's a smart idea to wait till 70 to do skydiving or things like that. Get it out of your system before. Also, when you are older, you have a sleep. You make sure that you're more comfortable than you are. When you're younger, you can stay out for nights. You can do different things. You have a palate to try different kind of cuisines. When you get older, your intolerances rises up. Like a lot of people become lactose intolerant or wine intolerant or things like that. So that's another hole in the argument. And last is it becomes part of you that you never change. You never expand your horizon in that level. Like when you understand everything about the world, different mindsets, different religions, different mindsets, different things in play. This different reality that opens up your brain so much that you see past so many things that you have been taught since childhood, and then it's a part of adulthood that whatever your mother taught you or whatever your father taught you, you are able to show them something back. Like, no, there's another reality out there, and it's part of adulthood where you can tell them, no, this is another reality, and you can try this, and it's a very different mindset out there. You can question everything that they told you, and have a good argument mentally that what is right for you, what is wrong for you.
Fantastic. And I find this very interesting, Cody. Do you think that it's your mindset to question everything that you are being told, or being rebellious, or thinking for yourself, that has made you achieve what you have achieved so far? Is it one of the key mindsets that you have that helped you the most, or are there other things?
It's one of the most key. Like, I was always, when I was growing up, I was a computer hacker. So my mind was always trying to figure out different avenues to hack something which was not there. So I was always trying to make the system do something that was not supposed to be done. And that's how I figured out a lot of things in my life. And even right now, because I'm able to think very differently, where I can put all the steps in the middle and figure out all the steps that are not needed. I just eliminate them, and my process is much more precise. So I cut down a lot of bullshit. So a lot of people think that more knowledge is more important, but I believe in more precise things are important, and you can eliminate as much as redundant stuff from your life. It would be much easier. So some people say you should know 7 steps to smile, 2 steps to do this, 5 steps to do this. What if I can just give you one? Okay, do this and move to the next. Do one, move to next, and it's enough. And that way you can bypass a lot of not redundant stuff. I mean, it's good to have, but not great to have, not necessary, essential components.
Okay. So you're saying simplifying knowledge, maybe the 80-20 rule, figure out the 20% of the things that produce 80% of the results and things like that.
Right? Figure out, lay it all out. Question all the logics, why this is needed or not needed. Let's say example. I'm going to give you an example. The traditional society gives us a mindset that you should have a big house, you should have a very good expensive car, you should have a lot of people working for you, and all this. I mean, good to have, but it won't give you happiness. It would just give you next goal to do. Like, okay, if I have a Mercedes right now, I need Rolls Royce. If I have Rolls Royce, I need a helicopter. There's never ending ceiling with the wealth that you can have in your life. So it's all catch-22 situation when you are trying to chase someone else's goal given by someone else to you. For me, travel makes me so happy that I bypass most of the things. I don't need a big house. I live much more better life than most kings would. Even a lot of people have commented on that even kings would be envious of my life, because
that's awesome.
Right? So I'm living in better rooms than most rich people. I am traveling. I have seen more countries, more realities, more women, a lot of different than most of the kings have done, and a lot of kings would be jealous of me. And actually, I met a couple of really rich people when I was in Europe, in Monaco, and all these people were always saying like, "Oh my God, I can never do that. I wish I could, but I've never seen anyone doing it." And these people were like
Right.
billionaires.
So even if they're rich, they still have fear. They're still living in fear of, losing something or making a mistake or something like that.
It's always there something that they need to do more important for them that was told to them by someone else. Like, I need to go to office to work. This is not a rule. It was just told to me, and I took it for granted. And it was like everyone took it for granted by the society, because it is supposed to be if you are a smart person, you go to office at this time and you come back at this time. And if you're a businessman, maybe a little longer hours, but you need to have an office. This was the golden rule of our life. Nobody questioned it until the coronavirus happened.
Yeah.
I questioned it 5-6 years ago. That's why I'm here instead of working those 9-to-5 jobs. I'm sleeping. I can work on my own hours. I can do on my own reality without being inconvenience of office. And even the challenges are that you work with different logistic issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's so important to me as well, the thing you're talking about, like being told what you need to do and not being an independent thinker. I also made a podcast episode, I think a couple of days back, on the very same issue. People don't think for themselves. And this is used against them by corporations, mainstream media, politicians, advertisers, marketing people, and things like that. They tend to believe what they're told, mostly if it has social proof. For example, if a lot of people are doing it, must be the right thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very important topic that bothers me as well.
I'm going to give you like the most extreme example of this is Hitler. Around 1936 to 1942, the way Hitler became the chancellor and the most important Führer figure of Germany was actually through propaganda. He was making comedy, romantic films. He ordered his officer at I forgot the name of the street in Berlin. It's right behind this monument of where all these bodies of Jews are buried. Just right behind it.
Yeah.
And it was office of propaganda. And this guy was told to make comedy, romantic films that makes subconscious villain. So even if you see in the movies right now, the earlier USA, all the movies, they had Russian as villain.
Yes.
Now it's slowly become Islamist guy.
Yes.
Right. So right now, always some Islamic Arabic guy.
Soon it's going to be China.
Right. Upcoming is China.
Yeah.
So slowly, the movie is gonna be about anti-China, things like that, and that I'm seeing in the propaganda. Ban Chinese products, ban this, ban that. So it's just an extreme example, but it's like the government, the news channels, they are trying to create what should be a reality for you.
Absolutely. Cody,
answering your previous question about travel challenges. So all kind of challenges when you travel domestically, the life is very simple. I'm saying a lot of people feel that domestic life has some issues also, but when you are traveling domestically, you know everything. You know the brands, what you're gonna get. I can go to any Kirana store and find my Parle G or my Amul milk or whatever across India.
Absolutely.
I know what chocolate I would buy. I know every single thing. Even if there's a language barrier, let's say I go to Chennai or something like that, where nobody's speaking Hindi or nobody even speaking English, there's a language barrier. I'm not saying it's not there, but even despite of language barrier, I know at least I know how to get around. I don't have to struggle. I might have to bargain a little bit with the rickshaw guy and things like that. But I think Uber has taken that away also. So domestic travel, a little bit is there, but it's not that extreme. When you're traveling internationally, there's so much changes. The food is changing, the language is changing, time zones is changing, the weather is changing. So I have to be very prepared how I'm migrating. So,
and one more important thing is cultures. Some things are accepted in one culture, but it's not in others. So that it's another important thing, I guess.
That is secondary. More about, I'm talking about more like personal mindset, personal issues. Like, let's say I go from India to Russia, and then from Russia to if I go from Russia to say Italy, it would create a lot of problem for me because I went from hot to cold to hot.
Oh, okay, that way, yeah.
Right, so
absolutely,
I might have a cold. I might have like some other symptoms. So it's not very smart, and I'm changing a lot of time zones here. So time zone is changing, language is changing, food is changing. There's so many things that are changing, and there's always some constant stimulation that I need to do this, I need to do that. And most people, when they go on travel, they think traveling is sightseeing. So I would go to Paris 3 nights. I would see Eiffel Tower, I would see the monuments, and I would say I've seen Paris. But I mean, you just seen a couple of buildings, and that's not Paris. There is a lot more to Paris than those couple of buildings. People never interact with the locals. They never interact. They never figure things out. I'm happy for them. Like, they think that is travel, but that's not traveling. That's just tourism. And right now, even the technology is much better. So I can just dress up and go to some photo studio and get amazing photo clicks across every single monument in the world. And it would be much better photographs than the actual photograph in front of the Eiffel Tower. And like in front of Eiffel Tower, it would be really crowded, and you would be trying to remove like 15 guys from the frame and trying to, like wind is not right, maybe weather is not right. But in the photo studio, you would have the perfect picture for social media. So if your purpose of travel is social media, then there are much better ways to do it.
Yeah. I mean, so with the technology and with specifically Deepfake, you could, take those maybe pictures that have been clicked by actors or something and put your face on it, and it'll look more real than what you post.
You don't even need to have actors. You can just direct download a wallpaper, and it's like a widescreen, right? So I would say really back in the day, I'm talking about 1950s, 1960s, where they did not have a technology of moving things. So the hero is riding a bike. It's not that bike is moving; they're moving the background. Bike is stationary. Hero is sitting on the bike. The background they're changing with the technology.
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing right now. So you can change as long as you take a white background and put yourself. You can put any background on it. And even I think most of the guys who have ever seen a wedding album, they're familiar with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So tell me something, Cody. What is the most important thing about traveling for you? Why does it mean so much for you? If experiences, memories, culture, meeting local people, or what is it?
I love having this network of people across the world, being able to communicate with from lowest end to highest end of people. So I would know some damn waitress in some country, and I would know some billionaire in some country, and I call it layer of realities. So it's not everything is not parallel. There's different layers and different things that are going in the same time. And once you are able to understand those layers, it might shock you. So let's say I'm in especially like Africa or things like that, where there's so many layers to the things. So if you go to Morocco, a lot of countries don't even have a Google map. Let's forget about language issue. At least like you can get a direction. A lot of countries don't even have a Google map.
Wow.
There's no.
I didn't know that. Which country are you talking about?
A lot of countries in Africa, there are a lot of countries which doesn't even have a Google map. It just does not. It's not there. So Marrakesh is one of the cities. Algiers is one of the city. Oran is one of the city. Lagos, there's it's not there. So they actually use this another app called Maps.me, where you just download offline version of the map and then randomly calibrate after the compass. But it's not as accurate as Google Maps, but at least you know where you are. But at the same time, it's complicated. And,
I can imagine.
Marrakesh and all these places, they were designed in a wall city way, that it was like designed like a maze. So to confuse all the invaders who invade from outside, once they enter the city, they would completely get lost. And it was designed with that purpose.
I see. Okay.
And even till date, even till date, the technology has not been able to resolve that issue, because there is such a elaborate maze that even satellite is not able to capture what's inside.
Fascinating.
So that's an issue. What you face in like Greece, I faced similar things in Japan, in Russia. As soon as you leave Tokyo, as soon as you get out of Tokyo a little bit, 10 kilometers from Tokyo, everything was shipped in Japanese. All the directions, even the Google Maps would start talking in English. So same thing in Russia. Like if you step out of, say, a certain zone of Moscow, it's outside is called Oblast. And you go to Oblast, and then it's like idu prava, idu naleva, a potom prava, and you would be like, what the hell? Unless you understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So you speak Russian?
I'm learning. I wherever I go, I pick up a little bit of language, and it helps a little bit. Russian, I'm a little bit more better at than a lot of other languages.
Awesome. Fascinating life, Cody. So I wanted to ask you about a couple of things going forward. Like, do you have any book recommendations for people listening in? Some book that has maybe helped shape the way you think or completely changed your life that other people should read and know about?
Tim Ferriss' book, The Tribe.
4-Hour Workweek. Okay.
The Tools of Titans and The Tribe. Those two. 4-Hour Workweek is good, but it's like really outdated now. Like there's a lot of good information, but there's so much new things that have gone through after that it's a little bit outdated, I would say. So
it is. I think I read it way back, like at least 10 years back or so. 10-15 years back. Yeah.
4-Hour book came in 2012, so this was before that. So
for sure.
Right. So 4-Hour, that really one of the shaper of how to think differently. 4-Hour Chef also, this is where he wrote about how to break down the process, how to do 80-20, how to learn faster things, and all those things. That was really good. Then there was another book, Lateral Thinking by Edward Bono. I really recommend that. So how to come up with the solutions that are not given in your mind. Like the society gives you certain solutions, and then how can you come up with a very different solution of the same thing.
Yep.
So that's lateral thinking for you. Then there's motorcycle diaries. That's pretty good if you want to get used to travel stuff, I would say.
Okay.
Then what else? I think comedy writing secrets. That's one of the
Jerry Seinfeld, is it? That's by Jerry Seinfeld, right? Or
I don't remember the name of the author. Comedy writing secrets. It's a yellow book, as far as I remember.
Okay.
The kind of exercises it makes you do, you have to think out of the box. You cannot think laterally. So
okay,
I think these are in for now. And I read a lot of books about cultivations and things like that. So
yeah,
I pick up a lot of Eastern philosophy from Japan, from China, all these countries. They're really fascinating, where they talk about how samurai went through his growth, or how Chinese martial arts culture. Like I find it fascinating how these people work really hard, and they have to go through different level of cultivations and different kind of things.
Yep. Would you like to talk about it a little bit? What do you mean by cultivation, and break down and unpack the idea?
All right.
For the people listening. Yeah.
Cultivation is there. Every field has what I call techniques, and there you may know like hundreds of techniques, and if you don't have I'm going to give example in terms of like Bruce Lee or a little child. So a little child doesn't have a raw power. He's not cultivated. So it doesn't matter how fascinating his kick looks, or how different kinds of punches he knows. When it hits you, it won't hit you hard, because he doesn't have that cultivation, that strength, inner strength.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter how awesome it looks. So people are chasing like different techniques. How I can do this better, how I can use this would create this kind of advantage. Yes, it's good to have some techniques, but at deep level, if you know certain techniques and you cultivate it in your life, that you keep increasing your strength, your core strength. So let's say you want to learn a language. If you go deep in the language, you might be able to do way more things than just knowing language on superficial form. So everything you have to cultivate different, use different resources, different things, and make yourself stronger in different aspects of life. So that's cultivations, and techniques are something that can be easily be broken, can be overpowered. But once your cultivation is stronger, even the techniques required would become stronger, or at least what you can do would be much stronger. So if you're a much stronger person, if I can say a really strong person who has developed for a long time, if that person really hits a punch, just simple punch would have far more effect than knowing thousands of different special types of punches from some like Shaolin movie, I would say.
Yeah.
The martial arts.
This is I think Bruce Lee has a very famous quote on this. He said that I don't fear a person who knows 1,000 kicks, but I fear a person who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. So This is basically the gist of it.
Exactly. So that's what like the difference is. Like people are chasing techniques, 7 ways to do this, 3 ways to do weight loss. Like people are chasing those bullets everywhere. But the bullets are nice to have. But if you have a strong cultivation, strong base, a lot of things other people might need, but you might be able to bypass. So Michael Phelps, who has won like 22 Olympic medals, that person doesn't have to worry about his calories as an average person who needs to worry about cutting and how many calories he can eat. Michael Phelps does not
Yeah.
give a shit about calories. So,
Yeah.
because he's so strong that he bypasses a lot of that stuff. Same thing with Indian pehlwans. Amount of calories the Indian pehlwans eat and things they know is far superior than most of the bodybuilders I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they have traditional way and they know a lot of things. It's crazy that how strong they are and how they look much bigger than most of the bodybuilders I've seen in the gym. But they have to start very young, like at the age of 9 or 10, they're starting out. Just to become that look by age of 22, 23, that Pelwan look.
Yeah.
So that's an example I would say. So cultivation is always stronger. The more you add to the cultivation, the increase your resources to make yourself stronger. More languages, more culture, more travel, more books, more education. Whatever you're trying to grow in, increase your depth, and the techniques might just gather like 3 or 4 techniques and just maximize them as much as possible.
Awesome. And Cody, probably the last question that I can ask you is, you have done your bucket list by the age of 30. What next?
Right.
What do you look forward to? Is it cultivation is the thing that you're like building, going deeper into particular skills, or what is it that excites you into the future?
Right now, it's the spirituality and things like that that really excites me, and different ways of making money. So there's this entire movement of cryptocurrency that is going on right now. That is really exciting for me right now because, again, this very hack mindset where we were always taught from childhood that the money is operated by government. First time there's a concept called decentralized banking, decentralized world, where the bank or the government does not decide and there's no corruption involved in this level as of now. Yeah. Where I was just looking at the process where just to send money to my friend in Italy, which should be it's a globalized world, and I had to go to a bank. The bank would ask me a lot of documentation. They might deny me, and they charge such a huge sum to transfer a little bit of money. So I just wanted to give $10,000 to my friends in Italy, and they all told me no. And then I figured out cryptocurrency. It just took me like 1 minute and it was done. So number one, nobody's controlling the aspect, nobody's controlling this kind of thing, and right now it's a very medium point where a lot of ideas are being played out, a lot of different projects are coming. So that's number one. That's really exciting to me. And number two is the spiritual reality that you can explore. So the tools that we have right now, I don't think it has been there ever in the life. As per like traditional India, all these people would go to like the mountain and they would seek for that amazing aura and things like that. Right now the technology is allowing you to bypass a lot of that stuff, and you can just get the really strong aura stuff in current reality. And you can increase your spirituality through different experiences. There's also like psychedelics for that, which are very popular,
like DMT and stuff.
Yes, most popular I would say would be ayahuasca, which is very popular right now.
Yeah.
And
so DMT is the chemical in ayahuasca, right? Like the psychoactive chemical in ayahuasca is DMT, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, DMT is higher than ayahuasca, and then a little bit higher than DMT is 5-MeO DMT, which is like the biggest one of all. 5-MeO is like God level stuff. So It's like all my life problems, everything I have, all the issues I am running through. Suddenly, you have a like you go in a biggest way to put it is like suddenly I give you all the life problems are like you see on the ground floor, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
helicopter and you just uh, rise in the sky, and then are seeing all the concurrent chains and everything together in single
Yeah.
point, and you have like a top view of everything, and it also deals with your emotional hemorrhages.
Yeah.
So all the pains you had, like you didn't even know that you have that inner pain or things like that. You can at least have a look what it is like. Just be
Yeah.
just
It's crazy actually. I mean, so I think when we die, our brain produces a DMT naturally, and there are some crazy documentaries, and Joe Rogan talks about it, and there are a lot of other people who talk about it. That they sort of enter a new dimension when they're on dimethyltryptamine, and it's not like one person is experiencing that. If you are taking DMT in a group, all of them have the same vision of an interdimensional portal opening up, and some interdimensional beings talking to them, and some crazy things.
everything becomes like a 3D. So it's like
Yeah.
you like everything becomes fluid. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's like a 3D reality, and everything becomes fluid, and then you see things from very different formats, and some experience can not be that enlightening. They just feel like
Yeah.
very different, and some
Yeah.
experience the main concept is just let it go. Don't try to control the reality. A lot of people act like a control freak, and they try to hold things like uh, in the same format, same communication level.
Yeah.
But if you are able to let go in that moment, like let things happen, uh, you'll be able to see things in reality that you never thought existed. And then you have this disillusionment that whatever you know about the world is, you just know like 1% of it.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Right?
Well,
So these are,
Cody.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt you. You're saying something.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of new ways right now that evolving. There's new absolute evolution is coming right now, and right now is the time to maximize your evolution, your travel goals, or everything. Right now, people are staying at home, but it's actually time to stay back and think about everything in your life and figure out different realities if you can operate, and maybe you might come up with a different idea that might completely change the reality of the world.
Hmm. Possible. Well, Cody, thank you so much. I think it was a fascinating episode, and I hope that you had fun today.
It was awesome to
And
share my thoughts.
quickly before we go, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you? If they want to have you as a lifestyle coach, where can they reach out? Where
Uh,
can they find you?
Best would be, I think, on Instagram. My page is
Mm-hmm.
Luxury Lifestyle Cody, and
Mm-hmm.
my blog is luxurylifestyle.co. It's not .com, it's .co. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is the fastest way to reach me, and I'm always responding to everyone there.
Awesome. I'll leave your Instagram handle and the link to your website in the chat description, in the episode description, so people can find you easily. Thank you so much for your time, Cody. I
Sure.
hope to have you on my podcast in a future episode as well.
All right, sure, brother. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Listen, thanks so much for listening to the episode. I really appreciate it. Now, if you think you have got any value out of this episode, please make sure to engage with the content. My podcast is available on all of the platforms like Spotify, like Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and it's also even available on YouTube. So if you got some value out of this content, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment, or please download and share it with someone who would get value out of this. That's all I ask. Thank you so much.